So I'm here with Mr. Kade Sheldon after his third round TKO yesterday on the first Mandra MMA event ever. First, you got the first TKO slash KO in Mandra fighting history. Like that,
Yeah,
that
boy.
you that is yours. That is yours for the rest of the fucking time. And you got the first TKO in Mandra. But I've known Cade for a very long time. He's not just a fighter, he's also a close friend of mine. We've known each other since 2011, I think it is. It's been a very, very long time.
Uh, yeah, it would be about 2011, maybe even earlier on.
Yeah, we met in literally buttfuck nowhere, the little town called Tujay, and here we are. I'm in obviously MMA media, and he's out there actually fighting. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me, man.
Oh, of course, it's a pleasure. Glad I can actually be on here now.
So just talk to me about your debut. Obviously, just you like we mentioned before, you're on the first Mandra MMA event. It's your MMA debut. You've got Anthony Drillich in your corner. A guy who's going to be fighting on Dana White Contender Series in a few weeks. Like, just talk to me about that experience. Just the whole warm up process and just your overall thoughts going into that fight.
I mean, I was going into that fight pretty confident. Obviously, I did have them boys in my corner, both Drillich brothers, so I knew I was in a high-level corner in a high-level gym, so gives you confidence. But yeah, they did an amazing job backstage at like keeping me calm and just making it feel really professional. And yeah, just an awesome event to be on as well.
Yeah, definitely. And how did you feel once you like walked out there? Because like you looked ready, especially like it looked like there was a bit of nerves, but I think you seen someone in the crowd and you pointed and you just like you raised your hand up, and I just seen the confidence oozing out. Am I right on that?
Yeah, so my mum, my girlfriend, my little brother, my cousin, and his girlfriend were all sitting together. So I just pointed to that group and yeah, showed them that I was still doing all right.
Yeah, like the change on your face there was like, fuck, I'm not losing in front of like my girlfriend, my family, and everything like that. Like the switch
Yeah,
up, like the
no,
switch was
there was no
so cool to
chance.
see. Yeah, no, that was cool to see. Obviously the walkout song as well. We spoke about this a few weeks ago. You walked out to it.
Yeah, of course, of course.
Yeah, what
I'll have
was
to find another one for the next one, I think.
yeah, nah, it was a good walkout. Like I was just like, yeah, this man's ready. And then obviously you're in the cage and you did like the little Nate Diaz thing, how he's like pacing back and forth. Like you were staring through Joe, like you were staring through him like a piece of meat, man.
Yeah, well, I knew it was his debut too, so kind of used that to my advantage. Thought he would be a bit more nervous and try to rely on that. So the more confident I looked, the more nervous he would get was the mind game going into it. So I think that paid
Yeah.
off a bit though.
Well, the commentators, the whole thing they were saying was like, "Fuck, he looks intense." Like talking about Joe, because like he came out like he looked like a man ready to fight. Like walking out, like he's pumping his chest, like he looked fired up. But obviously, you were more fired up, I guess.
Yeah, it just shut him down a bit early, I think, and he didn't really have much for that long range jab that I had, and yeah, it just kept him at the end of my punches, so shut him down completely.
Yeah, you wrestled him. I think that was a bit of a surprise for some people. Obviously, going in, he was known as the wrestler. I think he had a few wrestling bouts as well, and you sort of took him down like 40 seconds in. I was like, oh, okay, there we go. Like I was watching, I was like, oh, fucking hell, okay, he's gonna beat him everywhere then, I guess.
Yeah, well, it wasn't expected, but you take the opportunities, you know what I mean? But it was more of a catch and sweep, so his wrestling
Yeah,
capabilities were probably there. He just didn't get much of a chance to display them, unfortunately.
yeah. Like how did he like feel? Because obviously he got top mount pretty early into that fight, but he's like he seems pretty strong on bottom. Like he was fucking like it was like you were like trying to ride a bull or something like that. Have you ever ride one of those mechanical bulls before?
Yeah, it was pretty much like that, but when it speeds right up, and
Yeah,
they're
like
really trying to get you off that thing.
because like he was like moving you there, he was moving you there. Like you were showing good grappling IQ to like keep on top of it. But like he was moving you around in a bit. Like he looked like a shorter guy, but he was pretty stocky. He looked like I went through his Instagram as well. I think he was like a sheep shearer or something. So obviously he's got that farm boy strength. Obviously it seems.
Yeah, he told me that his plans today were to go out breaking horses, so he's obviously a farm boy because that's
Yeah.
what a crazy thing to do after your debut MMA fight.
Yeah, it sounds like that might be even harder battle, man. Like But I mean,
Yeah, that's a
obviously,
harder fight than me.
but yeah, obviously you kept on top, but I think it was the second round he did actually sweep you. But as Josh Della, Jack Della's brother, said on commentary, he's like, "Oh, he just stood back up." Like, what was that like technique there, or was it just strength? Like, or is that just what you do in training?
It was just a bit of opportunity, to be honest. I was posted up on both my hands, which is a bit hard to see in the actual video. But I'm posted up, my hands and my ass is off the floor. So as soon as he let go of my hips, I was able to get my feet underneath me enough to just rip him up off the feet, up onto the fence. Sorry.
Yeah, definitely. Like, yeah, that was very impressive, obviously from you. And then obviously you let your striking go a little bit more. How did you feel like the striking difference between you two?
I just felt a little bit more confident in taking a punch, and I think that really was shown after I hit him a couple of times. He just didn't quite look like he knew what to do after that, and yeah.
Sorry, I just had to run off. There was music playing. I had to tell my dad to turn it down, or I'm going to get copyrighted. Sorry, can you repeat that?
I was just saying that, yeah, I think I was just a little bit more confident in if I was going in there, I could have made it a dog fight and made it a good fight where he wasn't quite having that confidence. So I was just took a full advantage of that.
Yeah, and every time you seemed to hit him, it seemed to buzz him because he kept like looking away, like, and you'd go in for the kill there. Like, did you ask him like, was he hurt like every shot there, or like, because obviously you felt the blood obviously because you did start to swarm in that first round when he was first hurt.
Well, yeah, I think that first round, that swarm at the end especially, I hit him with a clean left hook as he shoots in. I think he got fuzzy after that, and that's why his game plan didn't really pay off for him and why he shot real early in the second round. And then obviously in the third round, once I had his hands low, it just swarmed in again. I could feel him not necessarily going out or anything, but I could see him fading and not wanting to be there as much.
Yeah, definitely. And my advice, not to take away from your victory, but my advice did seem to help there. I kept telling you
Of
that
course,
body.
of course. Benny P again. Benny P again with the award-winning advice.
Like as soon as you started going to that body, it's over, man. Like those kicks as well. It sounded like a fucking mule, man. Like those were some heavy kicks. Like no context MMA. His video of it, you can just hear the power in those shots, man.
Yeah. Well, I seen his body was wide open, and that was a kick that we've been drilling this whole camp. Like Brandon Drillich loves that kick and that combination. So we're drilling that a lot. So you can see that it paid off a fair bit.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, he just gave me too much of a reaction in the first one, so I was able to see it and started shredding the body apart, which lowered his hands enough for me to piece him up on the feet, up atop.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, going for that, I feel like maybe technique went a little bit out the door when you had him hurt. Like you're just sort of swinging a little bit there.
Yeah, I was just throwing whatever landed at that point, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess that's like first fight, obviously, but it's still you won at the end of the day. You swarmed him and everything. But is that something you want to work on? Maybe next time you're sort of like gonna just you're still going to go for the kill, but just be a bit more cautious. Or did you just see no threat from him at that point, so you just sort of just went in and threw whatever you could land?
By that point, I didn't really think that he was going to be throwing too much at me. I was pretty sure by the third round he wasn't going to want to be standing in with me. So, and I just hit him with a head kick that kicked through his guard and all that sort of stuff. So I was pretty confident that he wasn't going to be doing too much.
Yeah, you landed I think it was a front kick. I don't know if you remember, but it looked like it landed on the right on the chin. I think that was just before you landed that body kick. It was a good little sequence there to showcase that kickboxing. And the commentators said that the Drillich brothers did tell Josh Della, you're a very good kickboxer. So obviously you went in there and you showed you are a good kickboxer.
Yeah, well, I was able to get gold at Waco earlier on this year, so I think that displays that I've got some kickboxing credentials, even though it's a small show and only touch sparring, but still got to have some talent to win those sort of things. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, this year you've been a very busy man. You've competed in jiu-jitsu comps. Like you mentioned, you had the kickboxing. What does the rest of the year look like for you? You look into, I mean, I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask it like I don't. But are you looking to get back in there before the end of the year?
Well, we've got one injury we got to get looked at, but if that goes all clear, I'm hoping to get in somewhere in November, and get another fight in early.
Yeah, and this is probably going to be crazy to some people who've seen how big you looked against Joe, but your next fight is more than likely it's going to be at featherweight, right?
Yeah, that's the plan. We're going down to featherweight for the next fight. It might be 68, but featherweight's where we're going to end up.
Yeah, and I mean, even for this fight, you weighed under the lightweight limit. You're like 69, 68 for this fight, weren't you? I think that's what the
69.9.
Oh,
so like
okay. So
nearly half a kilo under.
Yeah. Okay. So not as much as I thought, but still, you're not like, because you literally just fought at your walk around weight, right? Because you're not like super heavy. You're lighter than me.
I dehydrated a fair bit. Well, not dehydrated, water loaded a fair bit for that fight. So that was like after all the water loading and stuff like that, and no food, no water fight weigh-in day. But walk around's a bit heavier than that. I was dieting hard for the last week of camp.
Yeah. How did you like feel just after that weight cut? Like, did you feel like strong? Did you feel like, could you feel that you had gone through like a weight cut? Because I think that's probably your first weight cut, right? Unless you cut weight for the kickboxing.
No, that was my first weight cut. I didn't really do any sauna time or do any big sweat sessions, so it was pretty easy for me this time. Didn't really feel too drained or anything like that.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's crazy to it's just crazy to see like people cutting weight and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's a part of the sport, But you looked strong out there. You look good for a lightweight. If you keep any of that strength and everything going down, if you like, you're just gonna be a problem for these guys at featherweight. I feel like.
Yeah, well, I've got the best team to do it with, the people that know how to do it right. So should be in good hands. Should be able to keep my strength and not be too unhealthy getting down to featherweight.
Yeah, for sure. If anyone knows how to go down multiple weight classes, I think it's Anthony Drillich. I mean, the man started it at welterweight. He's now a flyweight. So who knows? Maybe we're gonna see a flyweight Kade Sheldon one day.
Nah, definitely not. I don't think we'll go past featherweight. I'm tall enough that I'll be a menace in featherweight.
I gotta ask, did they fuck up your height? Because there is no way in hell you're 6 foot tall. You're way taller than you're like 6'2".
Yeah, I panicked when they asked me my height and just said 6 foot.
I
didn't realize that was going to get read out.
When you said that, fuck, man, am I shorter than I thought I was? Because I'm literally like 5'11", 6 foot. I was like, nah, there's no way. This motherfucker is a giant compared to me. He's not 6 foot on the dot.
No, I messed that up. My bad. That was my fault though.
Yeah. Nickname next time. Obviously, we spoke a little bit about a nickname. Is that in the books for the next fight? We're gonna get that.
Yeah, under the suggestion of Benny P, I like the Gypsy Prince. That's a pretty fucking good one.
Yeah, obviously he's not just a random. It's not just a random nickname for him. Obviously, Kade is of Romani Gypsy heritage, so it's not like he's just doing it because he's a Tyson Fury fan or something like that. It is literally heritage.
My grandparents were immigrants that came over after being gypsies for years, so.
Yeah, I think that's a fitting name. Obviously, you can't go Gypsy King because it's not too original. Like there is Tyson Fury.
Exactly.
Prince, once he fucks off, then you upgrade. Once you're like killing her, if you make it.
Once I get a few titles.
Yeah, exactly. Some belts, that's when you become the king. I feel like that'd be a perfect transition as well.
I think that's going to be the game plan.
Which also transitions me on to what are your main goals in the sport? Where do you want to take this? I mean, again, I know all these things, but this is just for the wider audience. But like, where are you looking to take this career?
Obviously, I want to go all the way. It's obviously very early in my career, but
yeah,
I've committed pretty much all my time and all my energy into this sport. I work at the gym. I coach the kids. Like, I spend a lot of time on the mats. I'm there for every class. This is what I want to do. I want to fight. I want to be in the UFC and fighting for them titles eventually.
Yeah, definitely. And like when Kade says he dedicates himself to this, I think you're literally training full time, right?
Yeah, full-time training.
Yeah, full-time training already. He's only had one fight as well, but like I can speak from experience. This man is dedicated to the game. He's coaching. He's going to all the tournaments. He's doing everything he can do. This is a guy. If you were like the stock exchange. You're a guy you put some money on, and then eventually it starts to sprinkle up. Because yeah, I can know firsthand. When we were in like what year 2 or something, we had like a mini fight. This motherfucker was strong then.
Oh, that was all just because I had brothers growing up. Obviously, had to be strong fighting with my brothers. Which I do credit quite a lot of my fighting ability to. It's just because I have siblings that I had to fight off.
Yeah, like I can speak mostly with cousins and stuff like that. If you grow up with cousins or brothers, if like you're just always wrestling, like I feel like people say Australians don't have wrestling, all this sort of stuff. Nah, you should see the wrestling matches like cousins and brothers and shit like that happen in Australia. Like we got A1 takedown defense when it comes to all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, I can't wait for Christmas Day at my family's house. It's gonna go off now. There's gonna be a lot of wrestling matches now.
Oh, your takedown defense is gonna have to be on point. You're gonna be getting shot on every fucking 5 seconds.
Yeah, especially because my family's a bunch of heavyweights. It's not gonna go good for me.
It's gonna prepare you, man. Like obviously, with speaking of heavyweights, not as in like a heavyweight, but obviously of that level, Anthony Drillich is. He is an elite fighter in the regional scene, and he is looking to go on to the UFC in a couple of weeks. So just talk to me about training with Anthony Drillich. One of the, I guess the best flyweight in the country. How does it feel to just train with a guy of that level, with an eternal champion?
It's honestly just a huge privilege. Anthony make sure to get lots of rounds in with me, give me lots of advice during camp. He gave me lots of advice leading pretty much all the time, to be honest. He was the one that gave me the advice on the water loading, on my diet. He gave me a lot of advice. So it's just a huge privilege to have him in the camp and a huge help. Obviously, it shows you a lot of cool things too.
Yeah, I can imagine. I remember when you came to my birthday as well. Yeah, I think you had a bit of a shiner from him as well. So it's not like he's not going easy on you either.
No, he shows me how tough I have to be for these fights and where I'm supposed to be at, which is also good.
Yeah, and even though he's a flyweight, that you can tell that man is he's got some freakish strength for his weight class as well. I feel like that he is just a physical guy. I feel like your grappling and everything must be like, pretty goddamn good.
There's a pretty extensive grappling program at Drillich Combat, so it's a right place for me to be, especially because I focus on my kickboxing, so definitely pays out. But yeah, I'm many weight classes bigger than Anthony, and he still just beats me up and holds me down. He does whatever he wants to me, so he's a very talented, very strong man.
And I believe you're the first homegrown Drillich Combat Academy athlete to fight. Am I correct on that? I don't think. Obviously, Anthony fights out of Scrappy, and he isn't homegrown from his own gym. But I think you're the first guy from that gym to actually like go on and have a fight, right?
Yeah, the first guy to have an MMA fight from that gym, first competitor.
Just making more history. Like what a good performance to like put Drillich Combat Academy on the map. Obviously, you showed all wrinkles of your game. Yeah, just talk to me about the honor of just being the first guy. Like you can hold that against anyone else in that gym now, that you're the first homegrown talent in that gym to get a win.
It was a bit nerve-wracking, obviously, like being the first guy to fight there. Not having people go through camp with you, it's always better. I would imagine, like having someone there to suffer with you. But yeah, it's just a huge honor to honestly fight under them and have such good coaches and such good coaching throughout the whole time I've been training there. As soon as I showed that I was committed to the sport and that I wanted to be a competitor in MMA, they just put 100% effort into me, and it's really paying off.
Yeah, that's awesome. Who are some of your main training partners outside of Anthony and Brandon? Like who are some of the other guys you train with at Drillich, and who people should keep their eyes on?
There's a couple of teenagers coming up. Another fella called Kade there. I reckon give him a year or two and he'll be competing in MMA. Very talented young man. But he's around my weight too, so he was one of my main training partners for this upcoming bout. Honestly, there's quite a few people. Like people I get in sparring rounds on the feet, and then other people I get sparring rounds on the in the grappling. So yeah, lots of people I got to shout out and thank for that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, his name. I think it's Rhymes. Is that his name?
Rhyme Lodo.
He is, yeah, he's a crazy, like, he's fucking good as well. Like, I went
Yeah,
through and watched some of his highlights. Like, training with a guy like that, he seems like he trains at almost every gym as well. Like, he seems like he knows almost all the fighters. So that there must be, you must get some good rounds with him as well, especially on the striking side of things.
yeah. Whenever he's back home in Perth, we make sure we get some rounds in and put some hard work in together. Being that we both understand what it's like and can go that little bit harder, where we know we're not going to injure each other, but make each other work as hard as possible. And yeah, there's a reason my striking has to get so good, and that's because I was doing a lot of rounds with him for a while there.
Yeah, I think he's got like 80 something fights or something. I was seeing like all the accolades in his bio. It's like boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai. He's gonna go fighting Gamma now. It's like this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a very talented man, and hopefully he does very well in Gamma because he deserves it, and he will go far in this sport.
Yeah, would you ever join him to go to like Thailand or something? Because it seems like he goes and he trains in Thailand. Is that something you would eventually do?
I believe he's in Bali, but eventually I want to get myself well rounded a bit more, and then maybe out of camp I'll go see them, what the training like
Yeah.
over there. Maybe spend some time with him in particular and see what it's like out of Samoa Fight Club.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. It is Bali. Yeah. Sorry. I think I swear I've seen he was training in Thailand as well.
I believe he has, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I'm not too ignorant then.
No. I think his last trip he was in Thailand, but this time he's in Bali.
Yeah, because like you said, yeah, Soma. That's a pretty good gym. There's some pretty good guys coming out of there as well. I think that's where the Kangnu fight nights are, something like that. That's where they do those events, which a lot of Australians and Kiwi fighters go over there, and they not gonna lie, they just go over there and batter some random Indonesian fighters. But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
But I believe Gamma Worlds is in Thailand this year. That might be
Yeah.
where you're also getting the confusion from.
Yeah. No, that is crazy because obviously there has been some very high level Gamma alumni. Obviously, Steve Erceg actually went and fought in Gamma a couple of years ago. Like, there's been some really some guys in the UFC have gone and fought there now. So, he goes on and has some success. That's his name right out there. Like, especially to represent Samoa, I believe he is doing. Like, that's pretty big for the Samoan scene as well.
Yeah, that'll be huge for him, and I'm honestly hoping all the best for that guy. Awesome person to train with, just an awesome guy to have around. We still text each other frequently because he's a mate of mine. So yeah, hopefully all the best, and hopefully he gets a good name there.
Yeah, I seen he commented he's like smoked him and he tagged you. Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, like the Drillich is more of like a jiu-jitsu type of gym. Grapplers, it's a lot of grappling. So what are the improvements you've seen in your grappling so far? Obviously, you showed good takedown defense, good get-ups. You had a lot of control. Have those grappling improvements just come pretty rapidly to you? Or, obviously you're training very hard, but like, have you noticed all the improvements in your game?
Well, before I actually got into fight camp, a lot of it was just playing jiu-jitsu and just basically jiu-jitsu and basic MMA striking, just so that I could blend those two together. It was more just in this camp, we're focusing highly on my get-ups and stuff like that. So kind of focused on them a little bit too much there, but because my jiu-jitsu game is pretty good for a white belt, I could have pulled some submissions off, just didn't get the opportunity to.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a high focus for us, because being that I took to the striking pretty well.
Yeah, on the commentary, they were saying like you almost did have that guillotine. You almost had a modified guillotine in I think it might have been the second round when you got him. You had him like against the fence. Maybe if he didn't have the fence to alleviate the pressure, you probably could have got like a modified guillotine early in there.
Yeah, he was able to press up against the fence, so I wasn't able to
Yeah.
hold it too tight. So I gave up on that early. Didn't want to gas my arms out, being we still had another round.
Yeah, you showed. That's another thing I wanted to talk about. You showed some very good composure as well for like your first fight. Like, you didn't go too crazy. You didn't go in there just swinging for the fences. Everything was set up. Obviously, the end you did went crazy. But I mean, the guy was hurt, so it makes sense. But like early in the fight, you weren't just going crazy. You weren't making any mistakes. How calm were you in that fight? Just like what makes you so calm in there?
I knew that it was also Joe's debut, so I had to act it up a little bit. Had to put it on, make him a little bit more nervous if I could make him a bit more nervous. But just because I was so confident with the corner that I had and all the hard work that I'd put in for me, like, I just knew I'd worked hard, and win or lose, I was going to put on a good show and do well there. I thought I was going to perform well no matter what happened. So
Are
Yeah, that
you
definitely helped.
salty? Are you salty that like right after you got the first KO, I think it was like the next fight, that Lebanese guy, he just went in there and fucking starched that guy. Then after that, it was the guy with the head kick KO. It was just it was like fucking finish after finish. Like,
I
were you a bit salty?
I
You
just set
couldn't,
it
you couldn't.
off. I just set it
I
off
was
for the
like,
whole night. Apparently,
I was like, oh,
everyone.
he might actually get that. He might get that $500, that 1K, and then next minute it's a fucking head kick KO. I was like, oh fuck, he's doomed.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, I think people seen that and just realized that they might have to step it up a little bit.
Yeah.
But no, I'm not disappointed, man. It was my first fight. I can't argue with the result. I mean, I did call for it, but obviously there was some spectacular finishes on that card, considering it was all amateurs and
Yeah.
really good dogfight in the fight that got the $500. He definitely deserved the money.
Oh, that was a crazy fight. That was the fight with the intense weigh-in face-off as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that fight lived up to the hype for sure. That I
yeah. That
forgot
was a good
his name
fight.
was. I think his name was Aiden. He had very good hands. Like, he was getting sort of pieced up in the first round, and then the second he just came forward and started throwing some bombs. He turned the striker into a grappler. Like, it was crazy. It was a crazy back and forth fight. He definitely, yeah, he deserved that 500.
Yeah, 100%. That was a great fight for him.
Yeah. Is there any particular promotion you'd want to fight with on November? Is it like Eternal, Domination, West Coast again? Like, is it, or just whatever card you can get on?
I think I want to have a couple fights just all around, to be honest, before I lock into a certain promotion. Um, but I'll be happy to jump back on West Coast when that happens again. That was an awesome card and really grateful for that to be put on and for the opportunity to fight there because that was amazing.
Yeah, it was generally a very good card, especially for the first card they did. It was you know they've exceeded all expectations. I feel like you can for an amateur card and an amateur event like that.
Yeah, spectacular knockouts, spectacular submissions, and dogfights. Anything you could want on a card, you got on that card. So it was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you had some fucking S tier commentary as well with Josh Deller and Mitch Tinley. You should have heard their commentary, man. Josh Deller just didn't give a shit. He was swearing like a trooper in there, man. Like, he
Uh,
was not sugarcoating anything the whole
I
fucking
still haven't had a
card.
chance to hear that yet, but hopefully I get to hear it soon because I've heard nothing but good things about his commentary so far.
With the head kick KO, I think he was like, Jesus fucking Christ! Like, when the guy head kick KO. Like, that's how commentators should react. But obviously they got to tone it down a bit. But he said what everyone else was thinking. I feel like.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
I actually went to school with that guy, so shout out kid that I went to school with.
Oh, you went to school with the guy who won, the guy who got the head
Yeah, the
kick.
guy that landed that nasty head kick. Yeah, yeah, Hunter Wilson. Fighting
Oh,
out of base MMA. I actually went to school with him.
oh, that's
Yeah,
crazy! What a small world.
yeah, small world sort of stuff. Yeah, exactly what I thought. Small world sort of stuff.
Well, like, were you in the same year,
Yeah, same year.
or were you mates?
A little bit. We like spoke and hung out, same friend group sort of stuff for a while there.
Damn, that is pretty crazy, actually. What literally are the chances of that, man? Like, yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I
especially
mean, I
when he
guess,
moved away too.
yeah, yeah, oh yeah, because
Moved down south. Sorry.
yeah, I was gonna say, because obviously he would have been fighting out of Bunbury, right? Like the Bunbury gym.
Yeah, I think it's Bunbury or Dunsborough or something like that.
Yeah, oh yeah, I think it was Dunsborough. Yeah, I seen because he was the guy who walked out to the superstar, like that's Sean O'Malley's walkout, and then no context MMA, he put up a thing. He walked out to Sean O'Malley's song, but he head kicked him like Leon Edwards.
Yeah, yeah, exactly what
Obviously,
happened pretty much.
and obviously, no context MMA. He's a big Instagram page, but also he's a guy you've put some hands on in the gym. Let's just say,
I
whatever.
mean, he does it back to me, so it's only fair. But he's
Yeah, it's not,
gives me great striking rounds and is pretty dangerous on the feet himself. So yeah, that's the only reason.
yeah. It's and he probably helped blow up a lot more support for you as well. Obviously, like putting that up, the clip of you getting that finished. I've seen so many likes on that. Like the post as well, all these people from other countries and everything like that. It's already your MMA debut, and you're already getting like the worldwide reception. Obviously, I also put out a tweet as well with your finish because I honestly, like, I was fucking so proud of you, man. Like, I know how hard you work. So for you to get that, you to get that knockout, I was through the roof. I meant to be
Thank
non-biased and everything because I'm meant to be a journalist, but obviously I'm not. I'm going to sugarcoat that I'm happy for my friend at all, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's honestly huge that Mitch posted that on his Instagram page there. That was a huge help to get some eyes on there and just makes it feel a little bit better, makes me feel a little bit more special, especially with it being posted on your Twitter as well. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, how'd you know that I had posted it? Because when I called you yesterday, you're like, "Oh, did you post it on your Twitter? Did somebody tell you?"
Yeah, got there's a couple of guys from the gym that follow you on Twitter and they sent the link straight into the group that we have.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Yeah, I was like, yeah, I have to post that because there was a sick finish as well. Like it was just like it was, the body kick. You see him wince a little bit, then you go for another one. Like that combo you throw is like that's what Jan Blachowicz was catching Adesanya with when they fought as well. It's like the 1-2 into a body kick. Like it's a beautiful combo. It's generally my favorite combo. It's something I try and practice when I'm like hitting the bag sometimes. Obviously not as skillful as a Jan Blachowicz or a you, but I try and do it when I can. But it is like a beautiful combo to see.
Yeah, it's a super good combo to use, and it normally finds the liver pretty well. So that's what I got lucky with, and found the liver with I think two of the at least three of the kicks. So that definitely helped me with the finish.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, knowing you for so long, what would you say got you into fighting? Obviously, because we spoke about this before a couple of years ago. You said it was either prison or fighting for you, so you chose fighting. What led you to this path?
Yeah, I didn't really do too well in school. I was being a little bit naughty during school and got asked to leave public school. And at that point, I had done a little bit of kickboxing beforehand and realized that I love and enjoy fighting. So after that, I was like, yeah, I have to find a way to make this fighting thing work. Otherwise, I might be in some trouble here.
Yeah, I feel that and it's paying off. Obviously, I mean, you haven't made any money from the fights yet, obviously, as you're amateur. But eventually, you keep getting the performances like that. That money's going to start, coming in. You're getting the experience. How many fights do you see yourself having before you do eventually go pro? Obviously, does it depend on how many you win? Just your performances? Like, what's your goal before going pro?
I think I just want to hit a certain level in particular. I want to feel like I'm good enough to be at a pro level. You know what I mean? But looking into at least double digits. I'm not going to rush the amateur career or anything like that. I think I'm going to hold it out for a little bit, try to get some tough fights in the amateurs, and make sure that I'm ready for that pro level.
Yeah, definitely. Is there
No
any
easy
guys?
fights, sort of thing.
Yeah, do you know many of the guys like on the regional scene? Like, is there any guys you have your eye on that you would like to fight? Not in a disrespectful way or in a disrespectful way. I don't know what way you want to lead this, but is there any guys you see yourself fighting in the future that just that you would like to fight, or even just guys in general that you just know who you could match up with in the future?
Not necessarily. I wasn't too sure what weight class I would end up at and how easy this weight cut was going to be for lightweight. So, like I said, we're looking at featherweight for the next one. So now I got to start keeping my eye on the featherweight division and see who's around in that division and see if anyone wants to catch these hands, basically.
Yeah, I love that. I think top dog right now. I think Jet Fisher is the number one ranked featherweight. He's fighting in Demolition, I think, so over in like Victoria. So he's a few states away, but there is some guys you can make yourself up against. Till you get to that top spot. Uh, what about just future? Like, if you could, say you get to that pro level and everything like that, what would be like your dream fight as just a professional, just retired or non-retired? Who would be your dream fight if you could just fight anyone in the world?
Not saying that I would ever beat them or anything like that, but just to say that I shared the octagon with them would be more the idea here. Edson Barboza at featherweight and Jose Aldo at featherweight. Not saying I'd beat either of them ever or anything like that. My ego's not that big. But to say that I shared the cage with them high level strikers would be just such an honor.
Yeah, I'd love to see them, man. That'd be great. Obviously, yeah, like you say, you're not saying you're going there and knock them out cold. Anything. You
No,
are
of
an
course
amateur.
not.
You know, you can't get ahead of yourself yet. You know, you
That's
are
just more from a
undefeated.
fan's perspective.
Yeah,
That's
exactly. Like you say, you're 1-0 in an amateur. We can't go saying anything, too crazy yet. But you keep up the training, you keep working hard. I'm sure eventually, you will fight. You one day you're gonna be in that cage against somebody you recognize. You're gonna fuck. I used to watch you like fight on TV. Now like I'm in the cage against you. Like I feel like a lot of fighters have moments like that. Uh, like I think Volk was like a fan of Jose Aldo before he beat him as well. Like he had watched his like rise up, and then he's beating him like Peter Yan, all them types of people. Like they go on and then they fight like their idols, and it's always so crazy to see. But that could be you one day.
yeah. Hopefully, if everything goes my way and I get to the level that I know I'm capable of, yeah, that probably will happen to me, and that's going to be a big head game to get over eventually. But yeah, it'll be cool to have that moment.
Yeah, definitely. How do you keep yourself from not gaining an ego? Obviously, you're coming off. I'd imagine the high you're feeling right now after that win is pretty fucking immense. Because I wasn't even though I'm fighting, and I got high from like you winning. So I can only imagine how you actually feel getting that finish and everything. But yeah, what is your just yeah? What would you say your ego level is right now after that win? Like, did you feel like immediately after that, were you like, "Fuck, give me Ilya Taporia"? Like, did you have that sort of thought like as you won?
A couple of seconds afterwards, when I was circling the cage, and after I'd hugged the boys, I was like, "Yeah, that's it. Anyone can catch it. I'm right now. Right now, we can all fight. Any of the heavyweights drop out of this card, I'm jumping in. Keep me busy." But no, now that I've slept and got my head around it without all the adrenaline pumping and stuff, it's only an amateur fight, and I haven't done enough and put enough work yet to start having that big ego yet. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, at the end of the day, you were both making your debuts. It's like
exactly.
yeah, it's obviously you're capable of getting to that level, but you like especially I'm probably a really bad person at doing this. Like I will hype people up like a lot, but I got to remember like I can't overhype you because I don't want to put extra pressure on you or anything like that as well. Like you are only 1-0 as an amateur. I don't want to like put all these things out there for you to you got to like start thinking about this and thinking about that.
I mean, it comes with it naturally anyway, a little bit of pressure, being that this is what I want to do with myself. That pressure is already on me a little bit, but it's nothing I can't handle. And like I said, it's only an amateur's fight at the moment. It's not anything to do with pros yet. So it's easy to say, like, if I lose, I lose almost.
Yeah, definitely. Like at the end of the day, amateur careers don't affect UFC careers. Like you say you
Exactly.
lost, like I'm not saying this will be the case, but say you were to go on to lose like your next couple amateurs, like that you could still rebound from that as a pro. Like it doesn't like I mean another thing to look at is like many fighters don't actually win their amateur debuts. You are actually in an exceptional class. Like a lot of people don't go on to win their amateur debuts or their pro debuts. Like JDM, for example, he went 0-2 as a pro. Quillen Sauerkield, he lost his amateur debut. Now he's in the UFC. Like those sorts of things, they don't really matter long term.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely hoping to experience my loss in the amateurs, rather than in my pro career. Obviously, staying undefeated is the goal. So hopefully, I get some tough fights, maybe be able to experience that. But hey, if not, if I'm good enough to not experience that, it won't happen. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly. If you can go undefeated, that's even better. But obviously, you're not looking when he says that, he's not meaning he's looking to go in there and fucking throw a fight or lose, but he's just meaning
I would rather lose in the amateurs than lose in the pro career, sort of thing. So
yeah, definitely. I could tell when you had Top Mount when he was like holding on to you. I could just tell you were wishing you could elbow him. Am I correct on that assessment?
yeah, he was doing a great job of staying really close, and I just love the idea of elbows and cutting people open. So it's a shame that we weren't allowed to throw them, but yeah, that was definitely going through my head.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask, how come your fight and like a few of the fights, how come you had shin guards and the other guys didn't? What was the meaning to that?
I believe you have to have a certain amount of fights before you're allowed to take them off.
Okay, do you know how many fights that is?
I'm not too sure. I think it's 3 or 4, maybe, or you have to be
Okay,
a B or C grade fighter. I'm not
right.
sure
Yeah.
what the reason is though. I haven't looked into it enough. I was asking for the no shin guards though. Didn't I wasn't lucky enough to get that.
Yeah, how did it feel fighting with the shin guards? Obviously, you landed a lot of leg kicks. Would you say like I'd say like it would help him, right? Like because you both got shin guards on. It's the leg kicks. They're not going to affect him as much as they would if uh, he didn't have the shin guards on. But I guess also at the same time, it means you could probably kick a bit harder, right?
Yeah. I think it would have hurt a lot more if we didn't have the shin guards on. Obviously, we both traded leg kicks pretty well. He got me with a couple. Um, yeah, we wouldn't have both been as keen to throw them as well with the shin guards on. It would have been a lot more sparingly, which would have helped me. I feel like because I've got some pretty good leg kicks on me, and I feel like I would have timed them better and done more damage with them.
Yeah, definitely. Did you feel a bit slower having the leg, like having them on your legs, or just didn't really affect your movement at all?
Didn't really affect my movement at all. I normally train with the much heavier ones and much thicker ones, so it was pretty good actually having them ones on compared to the ones I usually train in.
Ah, yeah. So as a pro though, are we going to see just like a whole change of? Are we going to see elbow after elbow in the clinch when you eventually do go pro?
Hopefully, I do love the idea of elbows and striking, even like elbows from distance.
Yeah, start
So
from them tomahawk elbows.
exactly, spear and elbows, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, was he? Could you feel his arms burning out as he was like, holding on to your back? Because it felt like I know from training when you hold on to someone like that, eventually your arms are going to burn out. Like, do you think he was gassing himself out doing that? Obviously, he was stopping you from landing any damage, but at the same time, he wasn't doing anything himself. He was just sort of holding on. Do you reckon that was why he seemed to maybe slow down a little bit?
Yeah, I think that definitely didn't help him in the third round especially when he wasn't able to get me down. I think kind of shot himself in the foot there because he wasn't too able to move his arms too well with all the lactic acid build up.
Yeah, definitely. And how did you feel? Just like your overall fitness? How was your cardio at the end of that fight?
I mean, I felt good. Obviously, once I seen the finish coming, I got that adrenaline spike too, so that definitely made me feel a lot better. But had the adrenaline dump somewhere in like the second round, felt the bit of the heavy breathing, and I was like, oh no, got to calm myself down. But yeah, it felt good. Felt like I was ready for it, and like I said, I put a lot of hard work in for this one, so I was ready.
Yeah, how did you celebrate? Because obviously at my birthday this year, we spoke about how you said you're going to become like the next Paddy Pimblett post fight camp. Did you enjoy some good food afterwards, Cade?
Of course, of course. I had snacks all fight. Um, I had a big bag of chips before I'd left the venue. I had some chocolate slice before I left the venue. I went home, had a big Macca's feed, and I've eaten good this morning as well. So
Yeah, this guy's a lot. This guy's going to be a featherweight, by the way.
what can I
Yeah,
say? I like my food, but I'm very strict in camp.
yeah. I mean, yeah. You got to see how lean this fucker looks. I can't imagine how much more lean you can get though. Like you look very lean at lightweight. Like featherweight, you're gonna look like. Did you ever watch that movie with Christian Bale, The Machinist?
Yeah, I might look like that in my end day, but hopefully I'll be able to rehydrate enough to be in.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, don't need you going out there fucking looking like Slender Man.
But yeah, like we said, we're just going to play around with these things in amateurs so that by the time I get to my pro career, I have it all sorted out and know where I want to be at.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like featherweight would be cool though. Eventually, you go pro there. Featherweight is a very striking heavy division as well. Obviously, currently there is a lot of grapplers coming up though in the UFC. Like the Diego Lopez, Movsar Evloev. There's a lot of those types of guys popping up every now and then, but it's mostly primarily striking division. Ilya Topuria, Volk, Max Holloway. I feel like that would be a good division for you, obviously, to showcase your striking, but also on the regional scene, it does seem like there's a lot more grapplers. So I feel like it is just an overall good division. Especially if you're going to work your takedown defense, it seems like that's a key part of being a featherweight. That might be why there's not many grapplers in the UFC.
Yeah, I think it's a well-rounded division that has lots of different types of fighting in there. And obviously there's going to be a lot of tough fights in the regional scenes, lots of different styles. So I should be able to by the time I get to the UFC, I should be able to face whoever they throw at me. grappler,
Yeah.
striker, doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And you've got some good training. You did get to train a couple months ago with UFC flyweight title contender Steve Erceg. That must have been a pretty surreal experience, especially because the next day he literally got announced to be fighting for the UFC title. So that must have been like a fucking movie moment.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy, especially seeing the post the next day. I was like, hold on a second, this can't be right. This can't be right. The guy that I was training with yesterday is fighting for the world title. No, just a huge honor. Like I said, my coaches have all the right connections. They're able to get me some good rounds in with people down there. So yeah, it was pretty cool. It was just a cool experience to be able to say that I trained there with Steve.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I was happy for you, man. You got some good rounds. You trained with like some really legit guys. Obviously, Lewis Christensen. Another really good guy coming out of Wilkes MMA. You got some rounds with him. Uh, yeah, you're just getting all the right training partners. Like who has been like just the most what's the word I'm looking for here? Surreal, would it be Steve Erceg who's just been the most surreal guy you got to train with?
I think for the level that Steve's at, yeah, it was pretty crazy to say that I've been in the same gym, been sweating at the same time Steve's been sweating, sort of thing, sparred him, all that sort of stuff. But I think the fact that I've got such a good connection with Anthony Drillich is
Yeah.
pretty crazy as well. I think that's more what I'm going for.
Yeah, that would be crazy. Like you're gonna see him on Dana White Contender Series. You're gonna see them talking to him. Like they're gonna be showing a promo with Anthony Drillich. That's a guy you train with every day. Like that would be
Every
pretty
day.
surreal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's going to go super far in the sport. So it will be pretty crazy, to say that I've
Yeah.
already built that sort of connection with him.
And who knows? Maybe we see you in the UFC, like in his corner, like while you're an amateur or something like that. Like that would be a pretty cool experience.
I think he would have to have I would have to have quite a few fights before anything like that happens. But hey, we don't know the future.
Yeah, exactly. You do never know. Anything can happen. So who knows? Maybe he needs a short notice call up. Just fly you into some fucking random place in South America. Here's Cade in the corner. I don't know.
Maybe we have to go to Brazil.
Would there be like a dream fight location for you? Obviously, I know you're only amateur, but if you were to go fight in a tournament, if as a pro, would there be like a dream fight location for you one day?
I guess RAC, obviously, being it's a hometown spot. Would just love to be able to say that I fought for the biggest title, the biggest organization in the world in my home city, with all my fans and like family there. I think that would be the
Yeah.
goal.
Yeah. So not looking to go into like the dangerous heartland of Brazil where they're all telling you you're going to die in Portuguese, or you're not looking to go fight in like Japan or something like that.
I mean, I'll go fight anywhere, but the RSA would be the main one that I want to fight at. But yeah, I'll fight wherever they send me once I get to that level.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it is pretty crazy, man, just to see you like rise up and everything. Like I remember seeing you as like in primary school where people were paying you to be like their bodyguard, and when I say pay, I mean pretending to pay you. Like, do you remember that whole little thing in 2J where people were like, "Yeah, Kate's my bodyguard, so don't mess with me." Do you remember that?
Yeah, back when we were much younger. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. It's crazy to see. Now you're literally fighting people, so I guess
Yeah, it's always
maybe.
been something that I've loved, so it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, obviously, we went to primary school together, but we didn't go to the same high school. But did you have many fights like when you were in high school? Like were you getting that early onset performances before going and fighting at West Coast Combat?
Not a whole lot of fights in high school and all that sort of stuff. I did a lot of like slap boxing with the mates, a lot of wrestling on the oval, all that sort of stuff was pretty frequent. Not a whole lot of fights. Um, no, honestly, haven't had whole lot of trouble in like fighting and stuff. Everyone's kind of respected the fact that I fought. So
Yeah, yeah, that's always good. Hey, yeah, it's always good if people aren't going to fuck with you. Now that you are an MMA fighter, now people are going to want to fuck with you, but they're going to be the other MMA fighters, of course, which
of course,
which makes things pretty exciting. Was there any, I don't know if did you watch all of the fights like on the card afterwards, like after your fight?
I tried to watch a lot of them, but obviously I was going back and forth from the back room, getting things from my bag and just making sure everything like my water bottle and stuff was all ready to go for when the fights were over.
Was there any guys on that card? I'm like, I know you probably don't know their weight classes, but was there any guys that you like seen fight and you're like, that'd be like an interesting guy to mix it up with, or you just didn't really know like what weight classes or anything they were in?
Yeah, I didn't really take much notice of the other fights, to be honest. I was just worried about getting in there and getting the job done myself, being it was my debut.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course, that makes a lot of sense. Like acting like you're fucking gonna be like McGregor, start naming off fucking guy after guy.
Calling out the whole roster.
Yeah, fucking give me this guy, give me this one. Yeah, there was some pretty intense guys on that card, though. Obviously, we did talk about that co-main event. That's like an intense type of fight. Did you? How would you feel if you were like you were in that Aiden guy situation? You know, you had I think his name was Dean Troman. You know, he was very intense at that weigh-in. Would you like to fight somebody like that? You know, who's in your face at the weigh-ins, give you a bit more motivation in the cage.
I mean, everyone fights differently. You know, I'm sure I'll get that eventually. Um, but I think he handled that as professionally as he could, and it showed off when he got the win and the $500 in the fight. But yeah, it doesn't really bother me. If they want to act like that, they can act like that. I'm professional. I would act pretty similar. So
Yeah. Do you ever see yourself calling guys out? Like, you know, eventually, it doesn't have to be in a disrespectful way, but like, you know, after you get a few wins, would you see yourself like you see the next guy up, maybe a guy for a belt? Would you do like a post-fight call out or anything like that eventually?
I mean, maybe if there's talks of a belt and stuff like that coming into my career, yeah, I'll do some post-fight call-outs.
Would you keep when I say respectful, I mean, you know, obviously not going personal or anything with it, or would you be a bit trash talky with it, you know, go full chael son and you know, you fucking sucks type thing, or would you just keep it respectful?
Nah, I'd keep it respectful. I've also got a bad stutter, and I bet that would come out at the wrong time. So,
Yeah, that's the Colby Covington syndrome. That's like with Colby. Colby will do like a post fight like call out, and then he'll fuck someone up. It was like, I think he called out like Tyron Woodley or something, or Usman. He was like, "I want Kamaru fake newsman in Madison Square, do it," instead of Garden. He just got clowned for that for like years. Still does to this day.
exactly, something like that would happen to me. So, if I keep it respectful, at least they won't bully me as bad.
Yeah, exactly.
The internet is the real undefeated one.
Yeah, that is true. The internet they don't take no prisoners. They just they
No,
just take victims. Like yeah,
doesn't
there
matter
is
who you
only
are, you're gonna get
victims.
bullied on there.
Well, yeah, even like the best fighters in the world, they're getting bullied. Would there be like a dream training partner, just a guy who you would like to, you know, pick the brain of a little bit? Just any fighter ever, past or present?
Probably Jose Aldo again, just for his high level striking and his really high level takedown defense from when he
Yeah,
was in his prime. I would just love to pick his brain and see kind of what it felt like and see what it looked like in person, sort of thing.
yeah, that is true. Yeah, his takedown defense was always like, yeah, it was always stellar.
Yeah, most legendary.
Yeah, it's like crazy. Like Chad Mendes, he would try and chain wrestle him. He just couldn't do anything. Like it was like watching two cats fight. You know, when cats are like sort of like rolling around, everybody. It was like that. Trying to wrestle Prime Jose Aldo. It was like, yeah, he was just fucking. He was going all over the place, but it wasn't. He was not going on the ground.
Yeah, exactly. I would like to pick his brain about that sort of stuff. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously, you know, you met John Jones. You got a photo with him. Did you feel the John Jones aura when you got to meet him? Obviously, it was just for a photo, but just talk to me about, you know, meeting a guy who many consider the GOAT of the entire sport.
I mean, I haven't washed my hands since. That's probably why won the fight. Nah, it was just pretty much a great experience to to met that guy. You know, he is one of the greatest people that I ever going to do in the sport, and yeah, I actually got a pretty good photo with him, and it was pretty cool to have a party with him on the rooftop there.
Was was John indulging in any of the nose beers while he was there, or was he keeping it pretty professional?
Oh, he was pretty professional. He had a couple of shots with us, but I'm sure he was partying hard.
Yeah. Speaking of speaking of Jones, would you ever want to train jiu-jitsu with Craig Jones?
Yeah, of course, that would be so awesome. I think he's a funny guy and another man that likes to party hard. So that would be awesome to
Yeah.
see what he's like in person.
Yeah, because obviously, you know, you beat Joe, who is out of Scrappy, but your coach does train out of Scrappy. So is there like is there a shot you're going to train a little bit at Scrappy here and there? It seems like they're affiliated gyms and everything like that. There's no beef with you and Scrappy just because you beat Joe, is what I'm saying. Because Craig Jones, he does train at Scrappy every now and then. So would you see yourself, doing some rounds there eventually?
Hopefully that's in the books. Joe already offered me to come down and get some rounds in with him if I wanted to, and Brandon and Anthony have spoken about me going down and getting rounds before the fighter was from Scrappy. So doesn't seem like there's going to be any hard feelings there. And like I said, it was all respectful, like between both of us. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big gym as well. Even Josh Della was saying, like, on the commentary, like, he doesn't know half of these guys who train at Scrappy, and he's one of the head coaches there. So it just speaks to how many, like, especially with, like, Jack Della with his win. Like, I imagine with his success, it's just blown up the gym over at Scrappy. Like, there's probably like been hundreds of people who just started training there after he got his win. So yeah, it is a big gym, but it would be very good, for you to get some experience there as well, I'm sure.
I mean, it would be great for the experience, but that's why I'm also so grateful for training at DCA, where I get the whole attention of the boys, being that I'm unfortunately the whole flight team at the moment. So
that's another thing. I feel like if Anthony goes in there and he gets a flatline KO or just even gets a win and gets a contract, you're gonna have like 100 new training partners come Monday. Like it's just the way things work.
Yeah, the gym's already filling up. Like we're getting so many people nearly every week. We're getting new people for every class. So hopefully some of them people want to start stepping it up a little bit and start thinking about competing themselves. But obviously you can't force anyone.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously you got the DCA merch there. Let's have a little geeze of that. It's
the DCA jumper.
It's a good symbol. You know what it reminds me of? Did you ever play like the old Batman games? Did you ever see Nightwing's little symbol he has on his chest? Nightwing. Yeah, it looks like Nightwing symbol. It's a nice little color scheme on it. I like it.
Yeah, it's nice. There's lots of different items at the gym too, if anyone's interested in grabbing it.
Did you have to pay for that, or did that one come for free because all your hard work at the gym?
I'm pretty sure I got this one for free just because I said I was cold one night, so got looked after for that night.
Oh, that's pretty cute, actually.
Yeah, I got looked after well there.
Yeah, no, but like you say, you are the gym at the moment, and especially you got some very high praise from Anthony, both Drillich brothers on the commentary. Obviously, they speak very highly of you. So yeah, like you say, it must be pretty good to get all the. Oh man, what's the word I'm looking for? I was going to say approval. That's not the word I'm looking for. The praise. That's it. The praise. Getting all the praise from the Drillich brothers, and just overall the whole gym there. And you train as well. You're like a coach there as well for the kids, right?
Yeah. So I help out with the kids' classes, mainly the jiu-jitsu and MMA class there. That's basically all our kids are allowed to do at the moment. But I'm just an assistant coach. Just helping out because I've had my working with children's and stuff like that and been in children programs before. So
yeah, no, that's good. No one can ever accuse you of being a sex offender. That's always good.
Nah, I've got my police clearance for that one, so I'm safe now.
Sorry, I had to make that joke, man. As soon as I heard police clearance, I was like, all right, we're making that joke. It's coming.
Had to be done.
Yeah, no, it had to be done. But obviously, you got to celebrate. You had your loving family, your girlfriend. You have a big support team behind you. I think I seen your mum's post where she was like, "Knock that fucker out" or something like that. I thought that was pretty cool as well.
Yeah, my mum is probably my biggest supporter behind my girlfriend and everything. So yeah, it's awesome to see, and she's always posting about it. Anytime I've got a competition coming up, she's all over it, letting everyone on Facebook know how I did. So it's pretty cool to see.
Yeah, no, that is pretty cool, and yeah, to have a supportive girlfriend as well. Like obviously, you got to dedicate a lot of time to training and everything like that. So it's it's pretty cool that she's pretty understanding with all that sorts of stuff.
Yeah, she's honestly the best. She's a huge helping hand in camp and all that sort of stuff, just to help me mentally get through it. And yeah, I can't thank her enough, to be honest. She understands that I'm loving this sport and that I'm talented enough to have a go. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Want to know? It's only up from here. You're under. You can tell people you're an undefeated MMA fighter. Like, yeah, it's only 1-0, but it is something you can say. Like, hey, you didn't think I could make it? Well, fuck you. I'm 1-0.
I mean, we'll have a couple more before I start saying I'm undefeated, but
Yeah,
yeah, hopefully
exactly.
that's the goal. Have a couple more, stay undefeated, and then I'll be able to say that myself.
Yeah, definitely. How we did speak before about the potential injury. Obviously, you don't have to disclose what that is, but how did it feel with that potential injury? Like, because like looking in, obviously as an outside observer, you didn't really show anything like it didn't seem like it affected you too much.
Oh, adrenaline is a hell of a thing, to be honest. Once I climbed up the steps, I didn't feel very much on that foot at all, so I was ready to rumble.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. Yeah, I wanted to ask you about like that whole adrenaline. Like you seem very controlled. Obviously, you said a lot of it was also to just like throw your opponent off a bit. He'd be a bit nervous, but like you did seem like you had a good job controlling your adrenaline. Do you do like a little bit of breathing exercises before you go out there, or were you putting a sweat on before you went out there? Hitting pads and stuff like that.
Of course, I had a good warm up, everything like that. I knew that the warm up was at the right level. I felt good going into the fight, felt ready to rumble. Had good energy levels going into the fight and everything, so that definitely helped my confidence. But I just get inside my own head, let myself know like this is what I want, this is what I'm doing it for, sort of thing. So that definitely helps and calms me right down.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, it is just it's going to be awesome to watch your journey. Obviously, coming from but fuck nowhere to Jay, and to see where you've come up from, like you've got to already is like it's pretty cool. Like you're literally coaching at the gym of a potential future UFC fighter. Like that is pretty cool as well. Like that's already like some people just take that as damn, I've made it in life. But now you're a fighter. You've won, and I expect big things. So it is pretty just cool to see. Like both of us, we come from nowhere, and now we're making it. In the MMA scene, obviously in different little different spaces, if you will, but it is still cool regardless.
Yeah, it's awesome to see that we're both doing pretty well in this scene and in the sport that we love. But yeah, definitely not enough. I wanted to get in there and give it a shot myself. Like Anthony's given it a good go. He will go far, and hopefully I can follow in his footsteps and see how I go myself.
Yeah, definitely. What is something you do want to showcase that you didn't really get to showcase this fight? Like, is there anything you feel like you didn't get to showcase too much? Maybe your ground and pound. Obviously Joe sort of made it a bit difficult for you to let your hands go a little bit on the ground. But is there anything you want to show that you didn't really get to show too much?
Oh, I am pretty talented on the ground, so it would have been nicer if I had have just been able to display that a little bit more. But obviously, with only 3 minute rounds, it was hard to display a whole lot right as you start to
Yeah,
get going, the round ends. So,
yeah,
there's always next time. Next fight, I'll be more confident, more ready for that, and know what it feels like now to be in there.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's just exciting times over at Drillich Combat Academy. I feel like this could be the start of something great. Obviously, you've made your debut. There's some other talented guys coming out. There's Anthony, who's looking to get his Dana White Contender Series contract in I think 2 weeks now. Is there going to be like a watch party or anything at DCA for his
Oh,
fight?
there's been nothing said yet, so we'll just wait and see what happens, and when it's all confirmed and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, hopefully they do because Dana White Contender Series. They always seem to do those like little. They always show like families or training partners watching the guys on the broadcast. So that'd be pretty cool if you make a little cameo appearance in Dana White Contender Series.
They'll probably show him down a scrappy being that's where he fights out of.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that probably is. Yeah, but no, it's an honor to talk to you, man. It's crazy. Like this is like it's weird. I'm interviewing you, but at the same time, I know everything about you. Like this is like the weirdest thing I've done for an interview. Like obviously with the other guys, I know of them and I know them decently well, but like I quite literally I've known you since you were like less than 10 years old. I knew you before you were fucking double digits year old. So it is crazy to like be interviewing you right now.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd experience, like re-asking the same questions and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, it's good learning curve first interview, so hopefully I did all right.
Nah, yeah, no, you've done good, man. It's we got a good conversation out of it. A lot of people who don't know about you, they got to learn about your experience a little bit more. Uh, and it's just cool. You get to show your personality off a little bit, and once you start getting interviewed by everyone else, it's gonna be like second nature to you. Because I do expect once you start getting a few more wins, a lot of people are gonna want to talk to you, but you'll always remember Benny P was number one.
Benny P was number one. Benny P also gave me advice to win my first fight. Don't forget, guys. Don't
Yeah,
forget. Benny P on top with his
exactly,
advice.
exactly. And hey, in a way, I popped your fucking interview cherry as well, if you want to look at it that way.
Yeah, you definitely did. So
Yeah,
nice,
no,
relaxing interview. At least it wasn't my first one. Was on with a friend. You know what I mean?
yeah, exactly. Before we did end this, I did want to ask, like, where the fuck is your West Coast combat interview that they did after your fight? Where's your post-fight interview at?
Not too sure. I think because after I fought, obviously, like I said, there was just a chain of finishes. It either just didn't get posted in time or wasn't good enough to make the cut, unfortunately.
I'm sure that's not the case. I mean, all the other ones were pretty much. How do you think you did your fight? And it was like, yeah, I think I did good, and it was pretty much all the same sort of stuff. So surely they could have just posted yours too. I can't imagine you like did anything too bad. Like I'm sure you gave the guy answers.
I tried to give him long drawn out, well, not long drawn out answers, but longer answers than just one word answers and stuff like that. But I didn't expect it, to be honest. I just got dragged straight from my fight after the doctor medical into the back room to do an interview. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, that is cool. But yeah, just before we go, obviously, it's early days in the career, so I can't imagine that you're gonna have any. But do you have any sponsors or anything like that yet?
Nah, nothing yet. Nothing yet.
Okay. No sponsors, but is there anyone you just want to shout out? First win, anything like that? Shout out to anybody.
Of course, I want to shout out DCA, both Drillich brothers, and just all the awesome support and people that come down to there. It's honestly such an awesome gym and such a good community. I felt the love in the building that night with the big fan base just from the people that come to that gym and obviously my family. Big shout out to them, all them guys.
Yeah, no. As somebody who's known Cade for a long time, he's got a very, very supportive family, a very supportive base behind him. Don't even think I've actually met your girlfriend actually, but I'm sure she's very supportive.
Yeah, she definitely is. She puts up with a lot for this MMA stuff. So big help having her around.
Yeah, like that saying is, it only takes one woman to help one man rule the world type thing. Like you got a good girl behind you. It's like fucking hell, you could take on the world with just that.
Yeah, it does feel like that when I've got her in my corner.
Yeah, nah, that's awesome. Oh, all right. Well, anyway, thank you so much for joining me, man. And yeah, it was awesome to talk to you. And hopefully we'll be talking again. Hopefully you get someone in November, and yeah, just end the year 2-0. That'd be perfect little scenario. But like you say, it's just the amateurs. We'll see what happens.
Exactly. Hopefully, if I get that win, I'll be jet back on this podcast pretty soon.
Yeah, exactly. What's your Instagram if you want anyone to just check it out or anything like that? Get some followers, get some support behind you. The floor is yours.
Sorry, what was that? You cut out a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I just said if you want to link or just tell people your Instagram if they want to follow you and go show you some support for your next fight, the floor is yours to plug your socials.
It's just Kade.Sheldon on Instagram, but it is a private account still. I haven't got my fight page working, obviously. Waiting for a few more fights, and then I'll start getting all that sort of stuff sorted, and then really start trying to build up the fan base there. But if you guys are interested, hit up my Instagram there.
Yeah, easy. Yeah, awesome stuff, man. Thank you so much for joining me. This was an honor to get to interview you. I was very excited after you won your fight. I didn't want to put extra pressure on you, but hey, if you win tomorrow, I'll we can do an interview. So I wanted to wait and see how things played out. Not that I didn't think you were going to lose. I was very confident you were going to get that fight done. So, but just in case, I wouldn't want to add any extra pressure or jinx it or anything like that.
Yeah, that's fair. There's probably some good thinking too. Didn't need that extra pressure for my debut.
Yeah, exactly. It's early days. Anything you know, I didn't know how composed you would be in there. You know, you're in the cage, you got that adrenaline pump, and I didn't know if you were going to go in there and just start swinging for the fences. But you know, you went in there composed, you got the fight done, and yeah, it was awesome. If anyone hasn't seen it, I'd recommend going and buying West Coast Combat to go rewatch the fights. Kay doesn't actually got to rewatch his fight back yet, so you know, it is what it is. But yeah, it was a very good performance, very composed performance, and yeah, bright future for this man. And I'm not just saying that because he's one of my closest friends that I've known for fucking over a decade.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me on here.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace. Thank you so much. Adios.